I think I have to apologize to the company that sent me these IEMs, because I kind of slept on it when I was offered to have these sent over for review, until I finally heard it, and then my whole opinion changed. Hey everyone, welcome to Side Salad Tech. Today we have the Artti T10 IEMs, which costs around $70 US, although it does seem to go on sale quite a bit from what I've seen. And they have a unique look which I find myself liking quite a bit. Now, of course, this IEM was sent over for review by Artti, but I am free to give my own opinion on these IEMs. The company already reached out to me through a couple different means, asking me if I'd like to review their product. I hadn't heard of them before, and quite honestly, I didn't have the greatest hopes for the IEM. I was focused on other products at the time, so when it came time to the T10, I didn't do any prior reading up or research on it, but in a way that made the experience of finally listening to them much better. With the IEM, we get a carrying case which is a little bit on the medium to larger side for wired IEMs, but it is a hard case with a zipper, and it would protect the IEMs well from damage. The included cable uses wires that are braided together with a mix of gray and a titanium sort of color, very similar to what you might see with something like the Shure S12. The braid is a little bit looser though than something like the S12, which does make it feel a bit more flexible and lighter to wear, although it does also give a sense that the cable feels a bit cheaper. The initial fit in the ear is pretty good, with decent isolation and a snug fit. The round shape, which is a bit bulky though, did start to fatigue my ears a bit after about 4 hours of straight use. But for a normal listening period, I think it's comfortable enough. The nozzle is 5.5mm with a 6mm lip at the end, so it's not the largest nozzle, but for some it might be on the edge of what's acceptable if they have smaller ears. The thing that makes this IEM stand out a bit though is how it looks. The whole IEM is made with a light beige plastic that reminds me a lot of older tech from the 80s and 90s, when everything was made from the same beige plastic. It's probably one of those things that you'll either love or hate, but I myself do quite like it. It gives the IEMs a bit of a retro look while having more modern technology inside, like a sleeper IEM. And when it comes to my first listening experience, it definitely was a sleeper IEM. The first time I heard these, I had one of those rare moments of surprise. To clarify, I hadn't seen any graphs of this yet, and I assumed it would be just another generic dynamic driver IEM, but these sounded different to me. These use 14.2mm planar drivers in them and have a lot of similarities with something like the Shure S12, but at only $70. They do sound exaggerated in their tonality, rather than being neutral, which does make them engaging for some music, but for others I do prefer IEMs like the True Theory Hexa or some IEMs-XL. The T10 does have a decent bass boost, but the treble is emphasized just enough to where it sounds detailed, but it doesn't come across as peaky or harsh. I actually prefer how these sound compared to something like the S12 Pro, which, even though the S12 Pro is a bit warmer, it has harsher treble peaks in it, which I find can be too forward and take away from the music sometimes, whereas these feel a bit more uniform in how they present the music. Unfortunately, I don't think these are the best IEMs for vocals or for music that focuses on things like stringed instruments. I felt for some vocals and instruments they sounded dead and oddly artificial. Not bad, and I don't think I'd be disappointed if these are the only IEMs I had to use, but compared to some of the other options that are better all-rounders at this price point, I do prefer to use those for a majority of music. But for those times where I'm just listening to something that's more electronic, I really do enjoy these because they can add a lot of energy in the bass, with treble that sounds elevated but still comes across uniform enough where it doesn't sound harsh or too peaky. In conclusion, I think that these are fun IEMs that offer a different flavor, which might not be the most accurate tuning, but it does give a sense of energy and detail when paired with the right music. The aesthetics of the IEM though are probably what I like the most about them, since I am kind of biased towards tech that looks retro.